Hey, what's good guys? It's Chris from WearTesters.com. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we got the performance review on these bad boys right here. This is the ANTA KT5. So this video is brought to you guys by our sponsor, our WearTesters Discord community. So if you're not a part of the WearTesters Discord community already, go click the link in the description box below, find out what it means to be a WearTesters Discord community member. They're the reason why we're able to do stuff just like this for free for you guys. So big shout out to everybody that is already a part of it, and hopefully you come over and join as well. Now with that being said, go ahead. I'm just messing with you. That's Raul, he's a WearTesters Discord community member. Sounds like it sounds like he's laying bricks right now. Wait, okay, there we go. That's a bucket. Check his shoes real quick, check his shoes. What is he wearing right now? Air Jordan 34s? How do you feel? Zoomy? All right, there's another brick. It's okay, happens to the best of us. But as far as these guys right here, same exact traction pattern that we've seen on the previous two models of the Klay. When did this come on? The Klay 3s, the KT3s? Because the KT1 and 2 is herringbone. I always go back and forth, but the KT2 is probably my favorite. Like the playoff version has like a knit upper or the knit back and then the fuse front. But I also really love the KT3. I thought those were fantastic. But like I was saying, same exact traction pattern on that model, the KT4, and then now the KT5. And what I love about this stuff is that it just works. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Looking at you, Nike, you guys do this all the time. Do something great, and then you pick it up. LeBron 16, LeBron 17. What the f? But these guys right here, fantastic traction. I don't know if you guys can see all of the dirt and grime and the dust that does get attracted to this, because this is a translucent outsole despite it being tinted. And despite all of this, the grooves are so widely spaced that what happens is the little particles of dust end up getting stuck inside, but not to a point to where it affects the actual traction pattern. If there ever were really, really thick amounts of dust where it does clog that stuff up, quickly wipe pretty much once every so often, not anything crazy, and you'll be good to go. Now we're gonna jump over to the fit. The fit on these guys is just to put them on. A little bit of a pain in the ass because of this thing right here. You got this big old shroud and all that stuff, so you kind of got to get them prepared before you put them on your feet. The thing though is that when you're sitting down like this, like in a chair or on a bench, it's a lot easier. I'll show you why in just a second. A lot of times though at my normal like rec gym, like at a 24 or whatever, there is no benches or chairs, so I have to sit directly on the floor itself, and that's when it becomes a real big pain in the ass to put these on. We're gonna get our Mr. Rogers on. How fresh are these, by the way? Oh yes, super fresh. So I went true to size. My toe is right here at the edge, right where I like it. So that's exactly what I would recommend for everybody. Now all the laces are underneath here. And what I mean by it being a pain in the ass is when you're sitting on the floor directly, you're constantly trying to push this so that you can tighten these guys up. But when you're sitting in a bench or on a chair, I'm able to do that. So if I'm sitting down right here, it's not a big deal. If I'm sitting on the floor, kind of sucks because I'm unable to put my foot on top of the shroud thing and all of that stuff. One of my nitpicks, it's like my main gripe with the shoe, is the height of the collar and the stiffness of it. This guy right here, it's definitely a high top. It's not a mid, not a low. I would have loved for them to have chopped this down just a little bit. Maybe not quite low top status, even though I would love a low, but at least mid, because this guy right here is just excessively high and it just makes the entire shoe feel like real bulky. Even though it doesn't play that way all the time, but sometimes when you're paying attention, you definitely notice that this thing is just, I mean, it's just a lot of shoe. It's unnecessary. But like I was saying earlier, go true to size. You should be good to go. Lockdown on these guys is fantastic. The lacing system is pretty traditional, and then you have these additional finger things. I showed these in the initial detailed look or review or whatever, and they work great. They go down into the footbed as well, so they are attached right here. So if you're doing any kind of lateral movements or harsh movements, it's going to cover you in addition to the regular lacing system, which is just the traditional throat, and there are holes under here underneath these fingers. So it's a dual system, so you got the fingers plus the additional or traditional eyelet. And lockdown on these guys, like I was saying, pretty much a really solid fitting shoe. I really like how they feel. This guy right here, it's just attached by two Velcro pieces. Honestly, I don't feel like it even needs to be there. What I wish that this would have done though is cut this down to a mid or a low and had this on here, just because then it would have felt like it was an additional piece. As of right now, it just feels like this is too much, all this is too much, this little thing back here. all too much. So it's just a little bit kind of like an over design, almost like a 90s shoe, but it looks kind of modern. So we're gonna jump back to the traction just to talk about it a little bit more in depth. So what I like about it is it's exactly the same in the front and the back. So you got two different kind of like pieces of rubber, but they all have the same exact traction, same exact coverage. So it's gonna be consistent from heel to toe. And then it's all in a circular motion as well. So it doesn't matter what kind of movement you're doing. You can be coming around a screen, stopping. You hear that? That's an awesome sound. I love that. Does not equal traction, but if it's there, it's just a nice sound. I just like it. But so you can be coming around, moving, maneuvering, step back, go into your shot, all that stuff. And that circular pattern is covering you from every angle possible. It's covering you from the front. So linear coverage is good. Lateral coverage is good. Doesn't matter if you plant right here. Doesn't matter if you plant right here or right here, or if you're doing a toe off, toe drag. Lots of rubber, lots of coverage. It's epic. Now the cushion on these guys is a flash foam. We saw this last year on the KT4. It doesn't feel quite as like, I don't know how to explain it, but like the KT4 was extremely bouncy, especially in the rear. This one feels a lot more subdued, but it feels very nice the more that you play in it. So my very first run of these, it kind of felt just like, they're okay. It was nice, it wasn't bad. But every time I put them on since, it's like it just needed a little bit of braking time. They feel so smooth, it's ridiculous. It almost feels, not identically, just almost. But it almost feels like playing in the LeBron 17s, but a lot lower to the ground and a lot more stability and court feel. I know that's crazy because that's a lot of air. It sounds ridiculous, I get that, but that's just the feeling that I get. It feels like that same type of smooth heel to toe transition. It just is awesome. Now this particular colorway does have that fake looking hover stuff. That shouldn't be there honestly, because it doesn't do anything. It's not like what it's used on for hover, because on hover it's used to kind of contain the rubberiness of hover, because it's like extremely like unstable without the netting. So what the netting is supposed to do is keep it in a location, so it's not like what Boost kind of does. This is supposed to keep it all together, but it's all open right here, man. It's just unnecessary. This foam right here does not need all of that. But what you're gonna get out of this that you don't get out of the LeBron 17, again, is a lot of fluidity and court feel. You still get the same smoothness and impact protection. So when you're moving around, you don't feel like you're too high off the ground. You still get everything that you kind of want plus cushion. And then when you're moving and you go to stop, set up, all that stuff, you feel really good underfoot. Like you don't feel tippy, you don't feel unstable. It's just a really solid setup and I really dig it. And it doesn't matter if you're a shooter laying bricks. That's not in either. Oh, thank God I made the layup. I'm the worst at layups. But as I was saying before I showed you how bad I am at basketball. But what you're able to do is really maneuver all that stuff with your footwork, and it does not affect anything. You're able to move freely, comfortably, with cushion underfoot, but still perfectly stable. Now the materials on these guys is a modern setup. It's a knit, full body knit as well. And what you get is a lot of knit that's heavily glued, especially in the forefoot. It feels like crap the very first time that you put them on. It feels super stiff. It feels very similar to the Kobe 9, if you guys remember those. But the longer that you play in them, the more that everything kind of heats up and it gets a little bit more malleable every time and all that stuff. Same with the collar, even though I still wish that this was like a mid or a low. Plus side though, has been durable, so you gotta give it that. There's not, much fraying or anything like that on any of the shoe. Actually, there's none, which is good. So I like that. And then again, once it's broken in, it moves well. It still looks good. Probably won't if it's like a white colorway. I will say the white colorway is really, really dope. So like I was saying earlier, support on these, super solid because the cushion setup is not too much. It's not too little. It's just a little bit of everything just right. If you look at that kind of like front view, you can see that this side doesn't extend too much, just a little bit. But this side right there, you got that little outrigger poking through. You're also covered with that rubber right here just to make sure that you don't roll over that footbed. So especially if you're stopping like this guy right there, that sidewall is really going to protect you so that you can keep, making your steps. So whether it's like that, again, toe drags, all of that stuff is going to be covered. So the support on these is solid. Inside the back of the shoe, there is an internal heel counter, which is great. That's the thing doing most of the heavy lifting. This guy right here is just, again, it's really unnecessary, as is the high top collar, as is most of this shroud thing and all of that stuff. So, it is what it is, but it's all there. It does work. So I'm not gonna knock it too much or anything like that. But again, they definitely could have gone a little bit more slim and been just fine. So overall, the KT5, super solid sneaker. I don't know, let me think about it for 1 second. Okay, so if I was gonna rank the KT line right now, right this second, I would still go KT2 playoffs, number 1. Number 2, KT3s. Number 3, I would go these guys, the KT5. Number 4, the KT4s. And then number 5, the KT1, because the KT1 was the most basic of the bunch. But what I like is the lineage. There's evolution within each model, but they're keeping what works from each model and moving it over to the next one. So they're not doing away with what actually did do well. So you got to give them major props for that. Again, traction, cushion on these guys, those are the two standout features other than the overall kind of like support and fit. If you were interested in grabbing the pair, you can grab them now from Famuji Sneaker. We will leave a link down below in the description box. We have a promo code as well. It'll save you just a little bit of money. If you need more information, including their weight, their price, their scores, there's another link in the description box. I know we got a lot of links in there, but you click that one, it'll head you over to WearTesters.com where you can check all of that stuff out. And that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all your support. Hopefully I don't break this. And until next time, guys, have a good night. Woo.